Hello friends, welcome to Roads to Missouri YouTube channel. This is the answer discussion video of the test that conducted in UPSC Quiz Telegram channel. Okay, let's move to the questions. First question, with respect to fundamental rights, consider the following statement and find the incorrect statement. First statement, right to property was deleted from the list of fundamental rights by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978. We all know that this is the correct statement. So, we can eliminate statement number 1. So, here answer is option B, that is 2 and 3 only. Here second statement, right to elementary education is available to citizens of India only. It's wrong because right to elementary education is available to both citizens as well as foreigners. And third statement, Article 19 protect the citizens' right to move in and out of the country. It's a wrong statement because Article 19 protect the citizens' right to move inside the country, whereas Article 21 protect the right to move out of the country and a right to come back to the country. So here answer is option B, that is 2 and 3 only. Second question, consider the following statement and find correct answer using the code below. First statement, the fundamental rights and directive principles together have been described as concerns of the Constitution by Granville Austin. It's a right statement. Second statement, DPSP are in nature of directives to all government of the country, central, state as well as local. It's also right. And third statement, Supreme Court has held that fundamental rights and DPSPs are distinct scheme and DPSP can override fundamental duties. It's a wrong statement because a law under Article 31C would be protected only if it is made to implement directives in Article 39B and 39C and not any other DPSPs. The extension to all DPSPs were declared as unconstitutional and void by Supreme Court in Minerva Mill case of 1980. So here answer is option A, 1 and 2 only. Okay, next question. Consider the following statement. First statement, a right is a legal claim that a citizen or any other individual is granted by the Constitution or any statute. Second statement, rights are the essence of democracy as they empower the individuals and enable to develop. Third statement, rights are associated with equality in contemporary time and establish a level playing field among the people. Here all the three statements are right. So here answer is option D, that is none of the above, because we should find the incorrect statement. Okay, fourth question. Consider the following statements and find the correct answer using the code below. First statement, the duties enumerated in Article 51A are non-statutory duties and are not enforceable by law. It's a wrong statement because the duties enumerated in Article 51A are statutory and are enforceable by law. So here we can eliminate statement number 1 and we get the answer, that is option C, 2 and 3 only. Next question, which of the following is not matched correctly? Here answer is option D, that is 45th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1985. It's not 1985, it's 1980. Next question, in which Constitutional Amendment Act an authoritative text of Constitution in Hindi was provided to the people of India by the President? Here answer is option B, that is 58th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1987. Okay, let's check what are the provisions of 58th Constitutional Amendment Act. There are three provisions. First provision, it inserted Article 394A in the Constitution under Part 22. Second provision, it empowered the President to publish the translation of Constitution in Hindi signed by members of Constituent Assembly. Third provision, it empowered the President to publish the amendment of Constitution in Hindi. So here answer is option B, that is 58th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1987. Question, which of the following is or are true? First statement, the directive principle of state policy need special majority and consent of states for amendment. Second statement, union list in 7th schedule can be amended with special majority and without the consent of state. Here both statements are wrong. Let's check why. What is special majority means? Special majority means a majority that is more than 50% of total membership of each house and a majority of 2/3 of members of each house present and voting. What is total membership? The total membership means total number of members comprising the House irrespective of fact whether there are vacancies or absentees. And these are the provisions which can be amended by this way are 1. Fundamental right and directive principles of state policy and all other provisions which are not covered by first and third categories. Then let's check what is special majority of parliament and consent of state. Provision of the constitution which are related to federal structure of the polity can be amended by special majority of parliament and also with the consent of half of the state legislature by a simple majority. If one or some or all the remaining state take no action on the bill, it doesn't matter. The moment half of the state give their consent, the formality is completed. And there are 7 provisions can be amended in this way. There is 1. Election of president and its manner. 2nd. Extent of executive power of union and the state. 3rd. Supreme Court and High Courts. 4. Distribution of legislative powers between the union and state. 5. Any of the list in 7th schedule. 6. A representation of states in parliament. 7. Power of parliament to amend the constitution and its procedure, that is article 368 itself. So here answer is option D, there is none of the above. Okay, 8th question. Which of the following is or are true? First statement, the 26th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1971 made it obligatory for the President to give assent to a constitutional amendment bill. Here the statement is wrong because it is not 26th Constitutional Amendment, it is 24th Constitutional Amendment. So first statement is wrong. Then second statement, Part 20 of Constitution deal with the procedure of its amendment. It's a right statement. So here answer is option B, that is 2 only. Okay, next question. A proper implementation of fundamental duties can be accomplished by which of the following act? Here answer is option D, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4. To increase the awareness among the people of India concerning the fundamental duties, the Verma Committee had identified a few existing acts by which a proper implementation of such duties can be accomplished. These are the Representation of People Act of 1951, the Unlawful Activities Protection Act of 1967, the Protection of Civil Rights Act of 1955, the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, the Prevention of Insult to the National Honor Act of 1971, the Forest Conservation Act of 1980. Next question. Which of the following recommendations were made by M.N. Venkatachalaya Commission for the successful implementation of fundamental duties? Here answer is option B, because the Constitution Review Commission chaired by M.N. Venkatachalaya recommended some initiative to be taken by the government for the successful implementation of the fundamental duties. Some of its recommendations are, there are mainly 5 recommendations. First, the union and state governments should sensitize the people and create general awareness about the fundamental duties among the citizens. Second, the right to freedom of religion and other freedoms must be jealously guarded and the rights of minorities and fellow citizens respected. Third, the people should be sensitized about their duties to vote in election, pay taxes and actively participate in democratic process of the governance. 4. The recommendations of Justice Verma Committee on operationalization of fundamental duties of citizens should be implemented at the earliest. And 5th, the industrial organizations should provide education to children of their employees. And here answer is option D. Next question. Which of the following provisions of Constitution of India has or have a direct bearing on education? First, the directive principles of state policy. Second, the fundamental right. Third, the fundamental duties. Here answer is option D. The state shall endeavour to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete age of 6 years. In Article 45, that is DPSP, and in fundamental right, that Article 21A, the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of age of 6 to 14 years in such manner as the state may by law determine. And in Article 51A, that is fundamental duties. So here answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. Next question. Consider the following statements about the Commonwealth of India Bill 1925. Correct. Here answer is option A, that is 1 only, because the Commonwealth of India Bill 1925 demanded 7 fundamental rights for Indians. Among these rights include individual liberty, freedom of conscience, free expression of opinion, free assembly and equality before law. The bill also had provisions for the right to free elementary education, equal right to use a road, court of justice and all other places of business or resort dedicated to the public. So here answer is option A, that is one only. And here statement 2 is wrong because there is no secondary education, only elementary education. So answer is option A. Consider the following statement. First statement, the Nehru report underlined the need for securing the fundamental rights that had been denied to them by colonial government. So right statement. Second statement, the report underlined prominently the need to protect the minority rights. It's also right. So here answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. Which of the following statement is or are correct about the subcommittee on fundamental right? First statement, it was headed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. It's a wrong statement. Second statement, it had representation of diverse section of the society including women. Right. Third statement, its suggestions were rejected unanimously by the Constituent Assembly. It's also wrong. So here answer is option A, that is 2 only. Let's check why. The Fundamental Right Subcommittee or the Right Subcommittee as it was known, it was headed by J.B. Kripalani, not Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So first statement is wrong. And why third statement is wrong? Because the suggestions of the Right Subcommittee were incorporated as the fundamental right in Part 3 of Constitution after they were discussed in Constituent Assembly. So here answer is option A, that is 2 only. Next question, which of the following amendments introduced an electoral college for the election of Vice President of India? Here answer is option A, that is 11th Amendment Act of 1961. Next question, which of the following statement is or are correct regarding the procedure for the amendment of Constitution? And here all the 3's are right and answer is option D. Next question, consider the following statement. First statement, the 24th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1971 made it obligatory for the President to give his assent to a constitutional amendment bill. It's a right statement. Second statement, the Constitutional Amendment Bill cannot be introduced in the state legislature. Which of the statements given are correct? Here both are right. So answer is option C, that both 1 and 2. Consider the following statements. First statement, the Parliament is empowered to specify from time to time the limits of the territorial waters. Right? Second statement, the state is empowered to specify from time to time the limits of continental shelf and exclusive economic zone. It's wrong. Because under the 40th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976, the Parliament was empowered to specify from time to time the limits of territorial waters, the continental shelf, the exclusive economic zone and maritime zones of India, and it's not by state government. So here answer is option A, that is 1 only. Next question, which of the following are the elements of the basic structure of Indian Constitution? First, welfare state. Second, freedom and dignity of individual. 3. Harmony and balance between the fundamental rights and directive principles. 4. Limited power of the Parliament to amend the Constitution. 5. Effective access to justice. Select the correct answer using the code below. Here answer is option D. Let's check why. The present position is that the Parliament under Article 368 can amend any part of the Constitution including the fundamental right but without affecting the basic structure of the Constitution. However, the Supreme Court is yet to define or clarify as what constitutes the basic structure of Constitution. So here answer is option D, that is all the above. Which of the following recommendations was or were made by Sardar Swaran Singh Committee with reference to fundamental duties? Here answer is option D, that is all the above, that is 1, 2, 3. To adjure the communalism in any form, to pay taxes according to the law, to define the country and to render national service including military service when called up to do so. So here answer is option D. Last question, which of the following statement is or are correct? First statement, Article 25 form the foundation of Indian secularism. Second statement, Indian secularism allows for the statement to regulate secular activities associated with a religious practice. Third statement, Article 25 also allow for imparting of a religious institution wholly funded by the state. Here answer is option C, that is 1 and 2 only. Okay, let's wind up. I hope you found this video informative. See you on Monday. Thank you.